This is my That Board model. This particular one is 8 foot by 23 by 3. Now, as you can see, it has the old style outline from the V-bottoms back in 67. Now, I'll just show you the rocker in it. Just a nice even curve all the way through, and you can see the foil, nothing too extreme there. And you notice the fin, it's got the correct fin for that period, 11 inches deep, and just an awesome looking rake on it, just like the V-bottoms were then. We'll just put it on the rack here and we'll have a bit of a look. Now, this one's stringerless. Now, we call it That Board because there's a photo of Midget with the white V-bottom that he made, he invented, and I think it was at Palm Beach at a board comp, and it's a famous photo where he's holding the board and you can see the tail sort of in this position. It has the chisel tail, you can see the V there, and the rails are quite, not overly pinched, but they come down to a sharp sort of edge around here. Now this one is stringless, it's glassed with Volan. It's got two layers, top and bottom. It's got a layer of 7 ounce and a layer of 6 on the top, and a layer of 7 and 6 on the bottom. So it gives it that real even, no flex in it, it's stiff as. Now I'll turn it over and we'll just have a look at the fin first. Now this is 11 inches deep, and as I said, I did a few of these a few years ago, and what we did was I made them with another fin, and I've decided to go for the actual fin for that period, and it looks way better. I'm glad I did, because it just looks amazing. Now it's not flexy at all, okay? It's got a little bit of flex in the tip, not much, because a lot of them weren't. They're actually quite thick all the way through. I know some people believe some of them are like bend them 2 inches, but no, it's just a normal fin. All the old ones I've seen had a foil like this, okay? And I'll just put a straight edge on the bottom here to show the V. Now on the tip of the tail, as you can see, it's got like an inch of V. Okay, so a massive V in the tip of the tail, same behind the fin, and just in front of the fin, which has that awesome rolled over V. Then as you're going up the board, it turns into a roll type V, okay? Still a fair bit, not as extreme as the Mals before it, like my 60s pig that has a lot of roll in the middle in this position. They started to flatten out before the V a bit, and as it goes through there, you can see it's just got roll, a bit more forgiving. The 60s pigs were very similar like this, it's just that they didn't have as much in the belly on this board as they did on the 60s pig. Now we'll go to the thickness, and as you can see, it's still got the thickness in the center where the V is, but because it rolls down into each edge of the V there, it's quite thin, not overly thin, but it's thinner on the edge, so, but it's got a fair bit of thickness there, which is, you know, nearly just under 2 inches or 1.5 inches sort of thing. And that gut runs all the way along this center part where the fin is and where the stringer would be. So it is a specialized type of board. Now this is a period that didn't last very long. They started getting shorter a lot quicker, but I decided when I spoke to Midget about 5 years ago when I did the other ones, because I just asked him if it was all right that I could mention his name, that he influenced me to make this board, that photo and so forth, and the fact that he invented them, the V-bottom and so forth, and he said not a problem with the original video I did. So I was really happy about that, and he was pretty happy that I was doing something similar to his design. In no way is it the same or anything like that, it's just the fact that I did ask if I could mention the fact that he was an influence. Now, a lot of people are starting to get interested in this one. This one's 8 foot, like the original one Midget did. I have done it down to 6'9". I do believe they go better around this proper size. I've done them 7 foot, 7'4". About 5 years ago I did a run of them, but I think now with this current sort of fin, it's really taken it back as close as we can to those original boards. I'm not cutting this back as well, it's getting the finish coat left uncut. As well as that, I'm leaving the bead on the rail, because a lot of them at that period, they were so busy, what happened was they just didn't have time. The board just went out, okay? So there's this great, people have all different stories, but I asked Gordon Woods about it. Why were there so many with beads? And he said they just didn't have time. They just have time to cut them back, and it didn't matter. Okay, so that's why I'm going from that look. I do that on my 50s pigs, and on my 60s pigs and on my balsa pig, because people feel it and they look twice because they say, is it or isn't it an original board? Because they just can't see whether or not it is until they pick it up and go, oh yeah, okay, it's a modern Peter board. But yeah, so this one, I'm pretty happy with the response we've had with it. So if anyone's interested in getting one of these, we can discuss the different lengths. If you're lighter, we can do it thinner, pinch your rail, but this is in proportion to the person, Wayne, that ordered it. So this is closer to the weight and dimensions that he wanted, and I think he owns a few originals as well. So we're working on those sort of volumes and so forth, like the original ones. So anyway, this one is that board.